The Ten Commandments. The Ten Commandments were revealed by God to His people on the holy mountain Sinai. These were written with the finger of God on 2 stone tablets. The Catholic Ten Commandments are a summary of the conditions of a life freed from the slavery of sin. The Ten Commandments are given in the Old Testament twice. The Catholic wording of the Decalogue is called a traditional catechetical formula and is found in the Catechism of the Catholic Church. The Catholic tradition uses the division of the commandments established by Saint Augustine. The commandments express man's fundamental duties to God and neighbor. As such, they represent grave obligations. To violate them knowingly and willingly in a significant way is to commit mortal sin. The first commandment, I am the Lord your God, you shall not have other gods before me. The first commandment is the most important commandment. It commands reverence and love for God. All other commandments are based on reverence and love for God. The first commandment commands us to offer to God alone the supreme worship that is due Him by acts of faith, hope, and love or charity. The second commandment, you shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. The second commandment prescribes respect for the Lord's name. Among all the words of the Revelation, there is one which is unique, the revealed name of God. God confines His name to those who believe in Him. The gift of a name belongs to the order of trust and intimacy. The Lord's name is holy. For this reason, man must not abuse it. The third commandment, remember to keep holy the Lord's day. Jesus rose from the dead on the first day of the week. Because it is the first day, the day of Christ's resurrection recalls the first creation. For Christians, it has become the first of all days, the first of all feasts, the Lord's Day, Sunday. The institution of the Lord's Day helps everyone enjoy adequate rest and leisure to cultivate their familial, cultural, social, and religious lives. It is also a day traditionally consecrated by Christian piety to good works and humble service of the sick, the infirm, and the elderly. The fourth commandment, honor your father and your mother. God has willed that after Him, we should honor our parents to whom we owe life and who have handed on to us the knowledge of God. We are obliged to honor and respect all those whom God, for our good, has vested with His authority. Treating others as you would want to be treated starts with how you treat your mother and father, etc. The foundation of our social interaction is based on our family unit. The fifth commandment, you shall not kill. Human life is sacred because from its beginning it involves the creative action of God and it remains forever in a special relationship with the Creator, who is its sole end. God alone is the Lord of life from its beginning until its end. No one can, under any circumstance, claim for himself the right directly to destroy an innocent human being. Society has evolved in such a way that many believe that if you can find a legitimate reason to take a life, then it's okay. There are exceptions, of course, such as self-defense. Scripture specifies the prohibition contained in the fifth commandment: do not slay the innocent and the righteous. The deliberate murder of an innocent person is gravely contrary to the dignity of the human being, to the golden rule, and to the holiness of the Creator. The law forbidding it is universally valid. It obliges each and everyone, always and everywhere. The sixth commandment: you shall not commit adultery. God is love, and in Himself He lives a mystery of personal loving communion, creating the human race in His own image. God inscribed in the humanity of man and woman the vocation, and thus the capacity and responsibility of love and communion. Everyone, man and woman, should acknowledge and accept his sexual identity. Physical, moral, and spiritual difference and complementarity are oriented toward the goods of marriage and the flourishing of family life. The harmony of the couple and of society depends in part on the way in which the complementarity, needs, and mutual support between the sexes are lived out. The seventh commandment: you shall not steal. The seventh commandment commands us to respect what belongs to others, to live up to our business agreements, and to pay our just debts. The seventh commandment forbids unjustly taking or keeping the goods of one's neighbor and wronging him in any way with respect to his goods. It commands justice and charity in the care of earthly goods and the fruits of man's labor. For the sake of the common good, it requires respect for the universal destination of goods and respect for the right to private property. Christian life strives to order this world's goods to God and to fraternal charity. The eighth commandment: you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. Christ said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. He died on the cross for the truth. The eighth commandment tells us to love truth and to show love for others by respecting their reputation. The eighth commandment forbids misrepresenting the truth in our relations with others. This moral prescription flows from the vocation of the holy people to bear witness to their God, who is the truth and wills the truth. Offenses against the truth expressed by word or deed, a refusal to commit oneself to moral uprightness. They are fundamental infidelities to God, and in this sense, they undermine the foundation of the covenant. The ninth commandment: you shall not covet your neighbor's wife. Everyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. St. John distinguishes three kinds of covetousness or concupiscence: lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, and pride of life. In the Catholic catechetical tradition, the ninth commandment forbids carnal concupiscence. Concupiscence can refer to any intense form of human desire. Christian theology has given it a particular meaning: the movement of the sensitive appetite contrary to the operation of the human reason. The Apostle St. Paul identifies it with the rebellion of the flesh against the Spirit. Concupiscence stems from the disobedience of the first sin. It unsettles man's moral faculties and, without being in itself an offense, inclines man to commit sins. The Ten Commandments: you shall not covet your neighbor's goods. The Tenth Commandment unfolds and completes the ninth, which is concerned with the concupiscence of the flesh. It forbids coveting the goods of another as the roots of theft, robbery, and fraud, which the Seventh Commandment forbids. The Tenth Commandment forbids all desires to take or to keep unjustly what belongs to others, and also forbids envy at their success. The Tenth Commandment forbids greed, desire to amass earthly goods, avarice, passion for riches and the accompanying power, and envy, sadness at the sight of another's goods, and the wrongful desire to have them for oneself. The Ten Commandments must be understood in relation to the law of love. Love of God and love of neighbor summarize all of Catholic morality. The law of love is also the first principle and source of the moral law. It contains all the law and the prophets.